Howdy guys, Attorney Walter Hnot. Let's get right into the video. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave 5-star reviews. That's the biggie for me. But basically, if you could, when you subscribe, hit the little bell. That way you get all the videos when they become available. Also, I want to go into specifically what I mean by the chop block. So we've been looking at some of the resource documents that are provided to essentially these politicians, the named politicians, the ones you hear about on TV. And what happens are there's these groups, right? There's nonprofits, there's study groups, research groups provided by the federal government that create these workup documents that outline essentially ways that they could go ahead and fix Social Security benefits. As you know, across the board, there is a money problem. And the major money problem right now lies essentially with the retirement benefit situation when it comes to trust fund lasting longer. Best case scenario, probably about 14 years out. Worst case scenario, probably about 10, maybe 9 years out. It would start to run out. And then basically it would just be reliant on what people pay in, which would then, of course, transition to only paying people around 77 to 78% of their actual benefits. With that said, it's all forecast math. We don't know. But we do know this, the country keeps getting worse off and worse off and worse off when it comes to essentially its capability to produce money in the sense of products, services, and, our international trade is not strong right now, as you can imagine, for many reasons, not just because of China and Russia, but many reasons. Now, with that said, these are essentially the individuals who are most likely to be affected before we start to take phone calls. Because as you know, every Thursday night we do the bigger video. A little bit late tonight, but you know what? I'm working on that house that I'm about to purchase that basically I'm going to set up for rental. So the whole idea here, guys, is that essentially, okay, Joseph Mitchell, I'll catch up with you about the multiple sclerosis. Just give me a call in like 10 minutes because I'll go through this list relatively quickly. These are the individuals who essentially are very likely to be on the chop block or reduction of benefits going into the future when it comes to Social Security benefits. Some of these come directly from a Republican docket that was created to go ahead and give information specifically to those politicians who are looking at ways to fix the system. Some of them come from the Democrat side as well, but the big chunk are from the Republican side. Not to say good or bad things, it's just, they're study sheets. That's what they are. Now, one of the first things that I put on this list, and there's a total of 8 items when it comes to who's on the chop block, is that they could save a massive, massive, massive amount of money in Medicaid, which is extremely expensive. And one thing I tell people when they get found disabled is that, yes, it's awesome you get a monthly check when you're on SSI. However, the thing that's worth significantly more than that monthly check is your Medicaid benefit allowance, which, you could be using up $5,000 a month in medical treatment on your Medicaid allowance. So that's something that, you have to keep in mind. One of the things that the federal government buying through with the state government could be doing is reducing essentially how many states and how many people are going on to Medicaid. Medicaid is reaching a tipping point, let's call it like that. As you know, a lot of people are on it as a result of COVID. It is going to, within the next couple of months, reach 100 million people, which is, like around a third, you know what I mean, and of the United States. So actually, let's look that up real quick. How many citizens are in the United States? Hold on. How many citizens are in the United States? Let's see what it says. Okay. So 331 million. So basically a little bit under a third of the population over the next couple of months will be on Medicaid, which is, look, it's not a good thing because that means the country has failed when it comes to people being able to get jobs, achieve employable wages that are life sustaining. That's the reality of it. So that's something to keep in mind. Howdy, Joseph Mitchell. Love pugs. Howdy, howdy. Don P. Howdy, howdy. Ariana Grande's ponytail. Howdy, howdy. So bottom line is this. The first group that I think they'll probably start to attack is Medicaid for all on the SSI train because, almost all states have it so that if you go on SSI, you can get Medicaid. I think they'll start to pull back on some of those states. The next one is reduction in program availability for Medicare patients. So as you know, most SSDI people, retired people, they're on Medicare and they pay their, monthly fee, yada, yada. But the bottom line is that they can start to reduce what the plans basically have and allow, whether there are certain specialty, additions, medications, whatever, they could start to reduce those functions as well. So that I put as number 7. So first one, number 8, Medicaid restriction for how many states are going to give it to the SSI people. Number 7, not having as many benefits available via Medicare. Now, number 6, new provisions for those who are under 50. So basically, as you know, when it comes to changing the system, they'll go ahead and say, okay, guys, we cannot afford to basically have individuals going on at the original 62, 67, 70 parameter, which is early retirement, full retirement, and then maximum retirement, 62, 67, 70. So what I've been seeing is basically for those who are essentially around, under 50 years old. So if you're above 50, you're going to continue with your regular retirement. Those who are under 50 will have an early retirement at 65 years old, a traditional retirement, full retirement at 70 years old, and then a maximum retirement at 75. So that's being proffered right now as a potential option as well. Another one, number 5, is the reduction of benefits for certain groups that have sharing allowances, meaning that there's essentially one group in the United States that will pay you an amount, and then there's the Social Security benefits as well. Now, with some police departments, with some fire departments, things like that, there's a windfall provision for limitation. I don't think it's outside of the line, although you might see some very strong bitching, which I hope there would be, that they might be doing a reduction in benefits for people who basically get 2 potential checks. And I think one of them that they would be a little iffy on going after would be the VA people, because the VA people get a VA check, whether it's a pension or a disability, and they also get the civilian check as well. I don't think they're going to be targeted as much, but there are alternative groups as well that they could go after that do have both programs as ads on top of each other. All right, now we're getting basically to the people who I think are, definitely, they're looking at essentially. Number 4, I think ex-spouses are very high on the chop block when it comes to ex-spouses being able to tap into essentially their prior deceased or prior tap their benefits, tap their retirement benefits. I think an ex-spouse basically, and there is a provision for that where, ex-spouses can actually tap into the Social Security Title II benefits of their prior husband or their prior wife. I think they're going to be on the chop block. I think they're very high on the list of the chop block. When it comes to just regular spouses, when they need to tap into essentially, for spousal benefits, the benefits of their ex-husband their husband or their wife who may have passed away. I think that one's going to be higher on the chop block too. I think people are going to be limited essentially to what they've earned, paid into, etc., which sucks because it really screws over women because, women still are the major caretakers of the elderly. They stay home, take care of their elderly parents, etc., or they take care of the elderly parents of the other spouse. So I think that's going to screw over women heavily. So that's not going to be one for the women vote, for the female vote rather. I think there's another thing that you have to keep in mind too with this, which is that their pronunciation of the argument, their joust of the argument, their proffer with this would be that, well, everybody works now. Nobody, nobody gets the right to sit back and not work. Everybody has to work. So I think what their argument is when it comes to, pulling back potential spousal benefits is that everybody is expected to go out and work and do a job, etc. Except there are strong arguments against that, which of course are that women have babies. So, de facto, no matter what you do, women are the caretaker. It's the babies come from them, and it's that connect. It's look, it just no matter what you do. And I get it. I get what's being argued. I get the changes in societal culture. I get that. But no matter what you do, like I always say, it's harder to be a female nowadays because you've got to be an executive, super powerful, have children, make money, clean up the house, cook the meal. It's like, being Superman, but a female. I was going to say Supergirl, but I didn't think that was a fair shot at the reality of it. Now, the next thing is basically the next 2 groups. I don't feel like, and this is group 2 and group 1 of the 8 list of the 8 people on this list. I don't feel like they're going to get chopped particularly quickly, but I feel like if things get really bad, Superwoman. Or that's not Superwoman. What's the other one? The Wonder Woman. That's what I should have gone with there. I should have gone with Wonder Woman. Anyways, the point is, the whole thing is, and I think this is important. I think this is relevant. When it comes to essentially, when it comes to the following two groups, I don't think they're going to be at the top of the list, but I think that they're easy to pick on. I think that they don't have a voice, which is why if things get bad, they're going to get on the chop block and they're going to be quick to be chopped. So number two, disabled adult child benefits. I think what they're going to expect a lot of these kids to go on to is just SSI and sit on SSI. So disabled adult child benefits, really simply put, is where you're 18 to 22, you're disabled, and you can prove that you were disabled during that time period, and you can then tap into your parents' Title II benefits. Whoever earned more, you can get that amount on top of essentially benefits that you previously have achieved. So you can really boost based off of what your parents have essentially, what your parents have essentially earned, so that you have a much better life as a result of that. It's kind of like the nice thing of having parents that worked. You know what I mean? It's like a benefit that I know my kids, if they became disabled and they were disabled between 18 and 22 years old, they could really tap into some more money, even though it's not really that much more money. The bottom line is I feel like this group is a prime example of people who are on the chop block. And now you will notice that they do not like to chop block benefits to children. That seems to be, that's like, that kills political careers. But disabled adult child, that's actually an adult who's claiming benefits back to when they were a child. So they're not really usually children when they're trying to obtain these benefits. They're actually over 18 to be able to tap into these benefits, and most usually what they're in their 30s and 40s when they backtrack to try and tap into them. So the reality is that this is a group that's part of like a rare little niche area, and that rare little niche area is essentially something that they could go after them. And trust me, they don't have a voice. They don't. They would be one of the easier people for these politicians to knock off, as a group of people to just say, nope, we're going to put you on SSI. Number one, I put down as auxiliary young child benefits, being those under 16. So first and foremost, I think that the politicians are not going to go after auxiliary type benefits to kids who are essentially under 16, sometimes under 18. And the reason why is that it is insanity for a politician to go after some form of child-based benefits for essentially young mothers. However, or young fathers, you got to cover it there. However, and I think this is incredibly important. However, I would like to say this: young mothers, they don't have the time to go ahead and find an attorney or fight the legal battles or yada, yada, yada. So they are reliant essentially on, some attorney to go ahead and back them through a battle with this situation. So let's say that you have some young mom and she's got two kids, and, she's busy trying to do all this stuff. And, the spouse is no longer the picture because they might have passed away, whatever. Then that is a very particularly easy group to, let's call it like it is, try and remove benefits from, because their ability to defend themselves, very low, very low. You would see, though, for that particular group, because of the age of the children, a lot of, I think, nonprofit-based attorneys jumping on to try and help with them. A lot more would jump on to help them before they would help the disabled adult child benefit group. So I think that would be kind of down the line. However, you will notice, and then we're going to go to calls, you will notice that all of the mainstay benefits, your classic SSI, your classic disability, your classic retirement, all of your you earn them benefits, for the most part, go untouched when it comes to ending the programs in general. They may modify them, but they won't end the programs. They're just going to heavily restrict essentially how people get them, when they can get them, etc. And the reason why is they hold the keys. They hold the keys to the program guidelines. They hold the keys to the statutes of application. They hold the keys to the changes and how they can change them. So unfortunately, the Social Security Administration, by and through Congress, have the power to basically take your money and spend it how they like. And if you don't like the changes, then they can say, well, you didn't vote right. And that's the reality of it. All right. So with that said, I am super duper tired. Now, I want to go through something real quick. I think it's incredibly important. At the end of this video, wow. Okay. So Benny Hill, here's the thing. Benny Hill, thank you for the donation, the $4.99 donation. So here's the thing. Before we go into doing more donations, there is basically a person who I checked in with who basically is a buddy. There's somebody who essentially has taken care of me when I was getting this channel really up and rolling, when COVID was happening. Somebody who basically is running into a little bit of a spot right now. This is somebody you guys know, and I would like for you guys to essentially hold off on, basically sending me donations. And what I would like to do is go ahead and I'm going to post it specifically into this chat section. And then after I do the chat section, I'm going to go ahead and post it into the bio area, or rather the general, comment section area, where people can see it. But I would prefer that you guys make basically donations to Cheyenne. And the reason why is she's going through a transitional period right now. Like, that's the easiest way I can put it. And that transitional period essentially is really, really tough for her financially. So what happened was she was working at Hill and Ponton, and she's now working back at the Social Security Administration. Well, she's working through basically like one of those court reporter groups where, you essentially type up what everybody's saying in the hearings and stuff like that. I was not super happy with, why that transition had to happen. I'm not going to say anything about that law firm. I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that she's going through a tough transitional time. So what I'm going to send you guys is, if you want to help her out, I've sent some funds over and things like that. Basically, I'm going to go ahead and post. I just sent the email with the text message over to here. Essentially how you can make small donations. Nothing big. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's just like, stuff to help with, like, power bill, stuff to help with this or that, or yada, yada. And the reason why this is so crucial, and I'm just waiting for the email to come over, is that sometimes this industry is very disruptive. And as I told her, different law firms can be snake pits, and they can be shark pits, and shark tanks and stuff like that. And I'm not saying anything about that other prior firm or, anything related to that. But unfortunately, as a result of how the industry is, and, you guys know how I am, I don't trust any of these law firms or any of these groups or any of these whatever. But sometimes inside these groups, there is essentially a bad egg or a bad, apple on the cart. And then what you end up with is essentially just a really, really negative situation. So give me 1 second. I don't know why it didn't pop up. Let me see over here. It didn't pop up yet in my folder here. So what I may have to do is upload it a little bit later. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if it's in the spam or the junk or whatever. Oh, my whole mail program just cut out. Ooh. Let's see what's going on. Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. So guys, these are her Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, stuff like that. If you could help her out, doesn't have to be big, just something small, I would really, really, really appreciate it. The reason why is that I've been there literally. And let me explain how I was when I was there. During COVID, my car had a battery problem, and I didn't have enough cash to drive my truck to the homeless shelters where I was working with the different homeless people to work on their disability benefits. And I tell you this, there was literally a guy who's part of this channel, who sometimes pops in, who made a large donation to me. And I'm just going to say what it is. He sent me a $1,500 donation, which I used to then get a new battery for my Prius, which essentially allowed me, when I wasn't able to pay my own, and it was a horrible time. It was a horrible time, but I wasn't able to pay payroll to myself. I had to basically pay whatever was there, was just getting paid essentially to the employees. And basically, because he did that, the firm continued. It was literally like, it was to me a religious moment. It was that big of a, because, who the hell would come out of nowhere with $1,500 and be like, I'm going to fix your car because you're important. Like, and he wasn't even my client. I can't say whose client he was, but he wasn't super happy. But it's another disability YouTube attorney. I'm not going to say who it is, but he wasn't even my client. And he was just so happy with the videos that he was like, I'm going to help you out. So, whatchamacallit. So basically, yeah, guys, if you donate tonight, I'm actually going to send these donations over to her. That way she has them. I really, really appreciate it. So it looks like L. Oh, that's such a cool last name. Um, Gilliland. Oh, that's such a cool name. Oh, that's so like if I have ever wrote like an elf novel, like Gilliland. That's such a good name. Hold on, let me take a picture of that name. Just I have to borrow your name. I'm just gonna borrow it a little bit. Oh, that's such a good name. Um, so basically, I really appreciate someone that's helping the disabled community. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Like seriously, guys, that's incredible. All the donations that you guys make tonight, I'm just gonna send over to her. So, but if you can use her specific things, I really appreciate it because she's just going through a tough time, and you know what I mean. She at first didn't want me to say anything, but I wiggled and wiggled her into basically doing something because the whole point of this channel is to help people, and it's like if it doesn't help the people who help to make the channel a reality, then what's the you know what I mean? It's like a whole group of the channel that's incredibly important. So all right, so let's get to phone calls. I'm gonna go ahead and call back some of the people who called. I don't have my usual thing, which basically is like I attach it to the desk because it's in the other room and we're in this room right now. I basically have to clean up what's behind me. There's like 20 microphone stands. It's just ridiculous because I used to be in that industry. And then one adorable little chubby dog. That would be Shadow. But what I'm going to do is pop over to the phone calls thing over here. Let's see what we got. I'm going to go to essentially the voicemails, and we're going to go to the first person who called and go right to it. Remember, guys, use a fake name throughout this process, please. And then basically from there, we should be good to go. But here is the first phone call. Let's see if we can get this person on the phone.
Hello?
Hey, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
Well, I have a specific question.
Perfect, sir. How can I help you?
Yes, sir. I was awarded a fully favorable decision on the 28th of October.
Okay.
And my local Social Security office did all the determination and everything and granted everything on October the 31st.
Okay.
And I received my notice of award.
Okay.
For both my monthly benefit
and your back pay
and my back pay, correct.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me that because I was also approved during the hearing for SSI.
Okay.
So I did my SSI interview on the 8th of November.
Okay.
And they made the decision on the 15th of November.
Okay.
As far as denial, which I knew was going to be denied because the amount that I make for my monthly Social Security is, I knew it was going to disqualify me.
So yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I communicated with the Social Security National online several times, and they were telling me, oh, it's being processed, this or that. So I went to the local Social Security office 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman answered a bunch of questions that I had asked before, and I got different answers. And he told me that I should be receiving my back pay within the next couple of weeks. However, I've already received my first monthly payment,
mm-hmm.
which was paid to me on December the 28th.
Okay.
But I still have not received my back payment.
Okay. So the way it normally works is basically once you get the approval letter, it takes about 3 weeks to get your back pay, about a month and a week, so 5 weeks to get your forward pay. But when there's a snag, it can sometimes, slow up essentially your ability to get your back pay because they have to do a month-by-month calculation. Now, you said that you got approved for SSI and SSDI, correct?
Correct. And then I was denied after the interview with the local Social Security office. they denied me for the SSI.
Okay. So what that means is during the pre-effectuation interview, which is the SSI interview, they probably asked you something about how much assets you have coming in. And the
Yes.
thing, yeah. So let me ask you this. Okay. So first and foremost, do you have more than $2,000 in the bank?
At the moment, no, sir.
Okay. So, and let me ask you this, was your approval, like, your alleged onset date, the date that they claimed that you were disabled going forward from, was that the same date for SSI benefits as the SSDI benefits?
Correct. It was determined to be August the 26th, 2019 was my onset of disability.
Okay, cool. So we got August of 2019. All right. So here's what they were doing, just so you know the math and how their brain looks at it. They look at August and they say, okay, for the first 5 months from August going forward of 2019, they can't count essentially 5 months for SSDI back pay. So what happens is, if we go back to August of 2019, we know that the first 5 months from August going forward, so August
to February, correct?
Yeah, right. So August, September, October, November, December. Well, it's to December. So the first 5 months don't count for back pay. But for SSI benefits, only the first month doesn't count. So only August doesn't count. So August you can still get, so you can, for SSI benefits, still get back pay for September, October, November, etc., all the way to the month before you're found disabled. So what that means is that you potentially have 4 months of SSI back pay that you can tap into. That, you wouldn't be able to, you're not getting SSDI benefits during that time. And I'm sure your SSDI benefits are more than $1,000, right?
Yes, sir. After currently with the increase and everything, after they take out the 164 for the Medicare,
mm-hmm.
It's over $1,000 a month.
All right. So they always look at it as the total, even before you take out the Medicare. But basically, if you're over $1,000, then for all of those months that you were waiting to be found disabled and that you were found disabled during those months, so from August forward, for all of those months, you get to basically get a total of 4 SSI back pay months. But all the other months, right, you'll get SSDI payments because the SSDI amount was larger. So for essentially September, October, November, and December, expect an SSI back pay check. But from essentially 2020, January, all the way until you're found disabled, but you don't count the month you're found disabled though, those will all be SSDI back pay. That's why it's taking them longer to process. And here's the reason. There's 2 different groups that process this thing. The local field office basically processes the SSI back pay. However, special payment divisions, they're all over the place, like Jamaica, New York, etc., process the SSDI back pay. And it all just depends on which payment division you get assigned to for the SSDI benefits. So you're going to see a check. Yeah.
Alabama.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think mine is Alabama.
Okay, yeah. So
because I lived in Texas.
Yeah, sure. So basically what will happen is you're going to get 2 different types of back pay checks, a small SSI back pay check for 4 months, and then you're going to get essentially a much larger one for the SSDI benefits. Now, the cool thing about the SSI back pay is that normally they only pay 3 months worth, and then you got to wait 6 months for, the next 3 months worth. Now, in this case, you basically have a total of 4 months worth. So 3 months worth will be paid to you in one SSI back pay check, and then they'll have you wait another 6 months to get that other month's worth of SSI back pay. So there's a split up there. But for your SSDI back pay, you get it paid all at once.
Right. And on my notice of award, it showed my monthly amount, then it showed the deductions from the monthly amount to cover the Medicare.
Sure.
And then it showed they already determined the SSDI amount of back pay for like 22 months.
Sure.
So, but I just, like I said, I got the letter of award, the notice of award letter on, it was, it was printed on November the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
But the SSDI determination denial was November the 15th.
SSDI donation denial, November 15th.
And they made me, they said I was eligible for my Medicare benefits and everything beginning November 2022.
So the only reason that they would give you a denial for SSI benefits like through the entire period is if you had income or resources that were over those limits. So during that 2019 era, were you working or did you have resources like lots of trucks, lots of cars, more than one dwelling, stuff like that?
I only got unemployment.
So, and sometimes they apply the standard differently with unemployment. Are you sure there wasn't anything else, like no other benefits that you were receiving somewhere, somehow? Like no
Not
LTD benefits?
2020.
Not until 2020?
2020 is when I got my 100% total and permanent award from the VA.
Okay. So that's interesting because, when you get because look, you're not going to get, your SSI benefits for the most part when you're getting a VA check. There's an entanglement problem, and the amount of the VA check tends to cause issues with, basically resources, all that stuff. But the point is this, I'd like to see, or I would, if I were you, call up and get a specific letter outlining why you were denied for SSI, because somewhere in there's probably a resource limit that you went over. That
I have my letter. I have the letter of denial, and it says that due to the amount that I'll be getting from my disability, that's basically why. That's why I was denied for SSI, because I'll be making too much.
Yeah, but that's not making. Remember, your SSDI benefits are only coming into play into January of 2020.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I would argue that I'd call them up and say, hey, where's my back pay for essentially September all the way through December of 2019? Because you should be due back pay benefits of SSI from September to December of 2019.
Okay.
And remember, that's a little chunk of money there. That's, it's 841. Yeah. Oh no, 2019. Hold on, let me find what the 2019 amount is. Hold on. 2019 SSI amount. That was 771. So you get a calculator. You do 771 times 4. You're talking about $3,084. That's some beer money right there.
Here in Texas, we call it taco money.
Yeah. Also a fan of taco money. Yeah, indeed. But yeah, man, sounds good. Give them a call and find out why they're not giving you that $3,000, because you should be due that for back pay from the SSI for the 2019 era.
Right. Now, my biggest question is, I don't understand why I've already received my first monthly payment, but I still have not received my back payment for my Title II.
Yeah, they usually, when they have to figure out the whole SSI versus SSDI thing, sometimes it takes them an extra month or two. I mean, if you're looking at this thing with, a spyglass saying, oh, where is it? It's probably on the way. You'll probably get it in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. But, bottom line is you also ran.
Well, that's what
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
The representative at my at the Social Security office, the field office here where I live.
Yeah.
I spoke to him last week, and he pulled up my account, and he read my back pay. He says, you're getting this much back pay. I said, sounds great. I'll be able to get some modifications to my house due to my disabilities and everything.
Well, don't use the money for that. Yo, use your insurance for that. Use your insurance for that.
And then,
yeah,
he read that the law firm will be getting their $3,000, and then my attorney will be getting their $3,000. So they'll be getting the $6,000. because it's quite a substantial back payment coming.
Sure.
But then I asked him, I said, do you see anything else pending as far as, you know, where I know they check to see if you owe any other federal agencies money like the IRS or anybody else.
Sure.
And he says, no, I do not see anything else pending. That's when he told me I should be receiving my back pay within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll get it. But I would call them up and say, hey, where's my SSI back pay? Because you're sure your VA benefits don't come into effect until 2020, right?
Correct.
All right. So then you should be getting some SSI back pay as well. And remember, do not spend your back pay money on modifying your house for your impairments. If you're getting a VA check, VA benefits have the best setup to go ahead. Like they literally give you money to go ahead and do really decent.
Right.
And
I've applied for those.
Yeah.
For those house modifications because of my limited mobility and everything due to my service-connected disabilities.
Life is about to get good. Very good. Hey, do you have any other questions, good sir?
No, sir. I thank you, and I do follow you on YouTube. I watch you like every day.
Oh, good. Well, hey, if there's any topics you want covered, shoot me an email. Don't make it a crazy long email because I'm still going through all of those from the Christmas, New Year's kind of holiday break. But shoot me an email with an idea, you know? Yeah. So.
Absolutely. And I saw your last video and I hope you get to feeling better.
Thank you, good sir. I appreciate it. You know, I was sick, you know, and it's just, when I get sick, I lose a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of everything because, you know, I'm so geared up to do so much stuff and I put way too much on my own plate. But I'll tell you this, I'm trying to buy this house to do the rental thing so I can rent it out to somebody. And I have had, I think I'm on like the 6th or 7th person who's promised me that they were going to come to clean the house and to pay. Like I'm going to pay them to do it. And they didn't show up. And I'm just losing more and more faith in our younger generation when it comes to showing up and doing it. And, you know, some of them just flat out didn't show up. Some of them would text me back later and say, oh, I decided it was too far, but they just didn't tell me anything. And I was just like, it's just all the things I would never do because I would have gotten whooped. And it's just all the stuff I myself would have never done, you know?
Yeah, it's a new world and, you know, it's very disturbing.
Yeah. But anyways, good sir, I will catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we'll go from there. You know.
All right, and you have a safe and profitable New Year.
Thank you, good sir. That and may my student loans magically die. Perfect. All right, I'll catch you later. Have fun.
Thank you for the phone call.
Absolutely. All righty. Bye-bye. Excellent, guys. So that was really good. With that said, let's go to the next phone call. Here we go. Let's see. Perfect. Let's get this person on the phone. Can you guys hear everything okay? Let me know if you can't hear it okay. I'll try and readjust and things like that. There we go.
Hello?
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Would you like me to answer a specific question or run hearing questions with you? And remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Go ahead.
Yes. Hello. My name is Belinda, and I called you for a veterans affair thing.
Sure.
Okay. I talked to your your secretary at Cocoa Beach.
Sure.
And I sent the paperwork and stuff that you told me to send over there. And she told me that she read and she said that she don't think that I could be able to get it back because of my marriage.
Oh, wait, is this the claim where basically you were on your father's VA attachment benefits and then you got married,
right.
They removed the benefits, and now you're looking to reattach to the father's benefits? Because when I originally looked at that statute back in the day, you know, that like when you lose them, you know, it's you know, it is what it is. Like you don't get to reattach to those VA-based benefits. I have to go look at them again, but I'm pretty sure when I originally read it, it was one of those things where once you take on that new financial figure, which of course in this case would be your spouse, even though I think you got a divorce with it.
Yeah, Let me
Yeah.
explain something
Sure.
to you. Okay, when I got married back in 1986,
Sure.
my husband was on Social Security. See, I was on Social Security. My husband was on Social Security.
Sure.
So we both was disabled.
Mhm.
And we went to ask the Social Security people, could we get married? And the Social Security people says, yes, you can get married as long as he's on Social Security, he's drawing off his own record, and you draw it off of your own record. Y'all two can get married. So they the one that gave us the okay that we get married. Just the VA says we could.
So and here's the tough thing. Imagine you're in front of a judge, and the judge says, states to you, okay, so you put your faith and you relied on the statements of the Social Security Administration representative, and you would say, yes, I did. And the judge would then say, why did you have the expectation that the Social Security Administration's representative would know what the legal requirements under VA law are?
I don't know, but that's not this man that came to and has came and he visited me one day, and that day, and he told me, and I told him, I said, I wanted to get married, and he told me, he said, if you get married, your check will be gone.
Well, yeah,
but I still don't understand. And to this very day, I don't understand why do they do that. If you are disabled, now I can understand if my husband was in the service and I married him, that of course I could get his benefit. But my husband was not in the service; he was on Social Security like I was.
So the reason they do it, look, I like your way of doing it better. I really do. The reason they do it this way is that they're trying to basically get more people off of the auxiliary benefits. And that's what it is. It's like a side benefit when you get to tap into your, parents, your father's VA based benefits. So in this particular situation, when you remarry, it's like you're forming a new union. You're no longer just the kid of the father or the kid of the mother who is, receiving VA benefits. You essentially, whatchamacallit, basically are forming this new union. So the expectation is that instead of being able to draw off of that, your parents, you would then draw off of your future spouses. However, to go more in line with what you're saying, it would have made more sense if they wrote the statute where if your husband was a VA person, then they would take him away. But if they weren't a VA person, that you would retain them. And I agree with you. That logic makes more sense because if your husband is not a VA person, then having those VA parental benefits just disappear doesn't really make sense because, it's like your husband not being a veteran, brings you zero benefit when it comes to VA benefits. So removing the VA benefits you originally had, it's not fair. I agree. But the way they wrote it out is, you get married, they pull the plug on them.
Okay, so can I ask you this question? Okay, what about me being disabled before the age of 18 and I couldn't support myself?
Well, that's in line with the whole reason of, why they gave you those benefits, from your father's VA-based benefits. Now, if you were disabled before you were 18 and you can prove that you were disabled between 18 and 22, then you should be on disabled.
Yes, I can because I was at the whole entire time I was drawing Social Security from my dad. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what are you on right now?
I'm on SSDI, but I don't draw off my own record. I still draw from my dad.
Okay, so usually marriage is a disqualification factor for DAC benefits, disabled adult child benefits. But it sounds like you're just on straight disability, like SSDI benefits, nothing else, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so in that instance, it sounds like because you got married, you got kicked off of the VA benefits and you lost your potential to get disabled adult child benefits. And you're basically essentially just receiving SSDI benefits, but you're not happy. And I get it, because your SSDI benefits are not nearly as high as your disabled adult child benefits would be if you were taking from your father's Title II benefits.
Right. And then too, the VSO people told me that I could get it back because they says that was my father. And that how did he say? He says that I inherit that money.
Well, kind of.
So
yeah. I mean, I don't usually think of it as an inheritance, but yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, it's an inheritance of a program that you can tap into. But when you remarry, like, that's the thing too. And I need to do a video on that, of how marriage ruins disabled little child benefits, VA pension attachment benefits, SSI benefits. Marriage in Social Security land, which is weird because, the whole point of Social Security is to be socially secured, and marriage equates to making somebody socially secure. It is odd.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think about it, why Social Security benefits are often ended or reduced as a result of marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Can I ask you? Okay, let me ask you this question. Why come I trying to sign up for SSI, and they said that I am not eligible for SSI because I got $2,000 worth of excess?
Yeah, so you got too much resource in the bank. How much are you getting per month on SSDI benefits?
It's $1,217.
Yeah, so you're not going to be able to get SSI because SSI is for essentially people who are getting less than like 900-ish on SSDI benefits.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're getting under 900, if you're getting like 600, 700, 800, whatever of SSDI benefits, you could get some SSI benefits. But when you're above that 900-ish threshold, like, you got 1,200, then they wouldn't give you SSI, because SSI is just meant to be like, either an accompaniment when the other program benefits aren't enough, or the full payment when basically you have no other options. And so in this instance, you would not be able to go ahead and tap into SSI benefits. So you could apply, but even if you won them, which you would because you've been found disabled previously, you wouldn't be able to get them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So can I ask you another question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So if I don't understand this, why if I'm eligible for disability check, why come I can't be eligible for a veteran?
Well, were you a veteran?
I mean, they both the same. No, I ain't a veteran, but I should be. Let me get my thoughts right. I should be eligible for them if I'm a veteran's disabled child. I should be eligible for them if I'm drawing Social Security.
So, I mean, here's the thing. I did a video recently, because not a lot of people have done videos on it, as to what a veteran is who can basically attach to attach to VA benefits, whether it's disability or pension, whatever. And one of the things that really surprised me is that, like, some Coast Guard people can't get VA benefits, and like things that, like, people that I was just like, well, of course they're veterans. It's not, some of them still aren't. So the reality is that if you haven't served in the armed forces or in some capacity, I have the book here. Like, if you, let me shake it over here. But like, I went through the list of basically, and I'll read you some of the things that surprised me. To be eligible for veteran benefits, members of the Guard or Reserves have to have completed the duty obligation or have completed at least 24 months of active duty. So they have to completed some tour or at least 24 months of active duty as a result of it. Now, there are other groups that can tap into them, like, aliens, non-U.S. citizens who did not request discharge during a period of hostilities, full-time duty as a commissioned officer of the Public Health Service, full-time duty as a commissioned officer of the Coast or Geodetic Environmental Science Service Administration, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. I wanted to work for NOAA, actually. Full-time reserve duty, merchant Marines who served during World War II, and burial benefits and pension for other merchant Marines.
Wait a minute. Did you say that the people that in World War II.
Yeah, but you weren't in World War II, were you?
My dad was.
Yeah, but it's got to be you. Like, you got to remember, like, when you marry, it kills off a lot of the parent benefits. Yeah, yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't. But still, then again, that seems like that's attack on my that's attack on my my rights there, that you can't get married. I mean, because everybody. I mean, not everybody gets married, but if your husband dies in the war, they want to get, they want, the spouse wants to pass on. They just don't want to sit there and grieve over their husband. You know what I'm saying? I mean, life still goes on.
Yeah, no, look, I agree, but you got to balance that against their agenda to not have to pay you. You know what I mean? There is a motive, an ulterior motive that is not to your favor here. You got to remember, these politicians, they're looking at how much money is getting paid out to these programs. It's money that I'm paying right now to pay for you. That's the reality of it. And it's, but these politicians, they're greedy. They want as much money as they can get for whatever projects they want. If you look at some of these bills that came. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you somebody. I was watching the C-SPAN. I watch C-SPAN all the time. And it was Steve Howdy. Mm-hmm. He got up there and he told the Republican, he said that's the reason why these people remarry. They were doing for the remarry for Gold Star family. And they said the people that got married and remarried, they should get their check started back again. He says the Republican cussed it off and they never give it back. So my thing is this: I'm gonna blame the Republican for changing their rules. They ruined the Veterans Affairs. They just ruined them real bad.
I would say this. Look, I've watched Fox News, C-SPAN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CNN. I've watched a lot of them, and what I have learned is that they use people like ping pong balls, and they just kind of hit us back and forth, and it kind of confuses us and makes us feel like one group is trying to fight for us and then the other group is trying to fight for us, and then we just kind of bounce back and forth. But if you want my honest opinion, these politicians that have been in there for more than 2 terms, they need to go get a real effing job. They need to go get a real effing job, because they can't do the job that we need them to do, which is to be a proper politician who represents the people consistently. And if they've been in this long, if they've been in for decades, they need to go get a real job. And the reason why is I don't think politicians have any agenda of helping the people by fixing the system to be pro-claimant, pro-recipient. They are extremely quick to forget that the most important function of their existence is to administer the government for the people. And it seems like we're pretty low on that list at this point. I don't know about you, but it seems like other countries, immigrants, fanning the flames of potential wars. I just feel very low on that list. I mean, look, my student loans are so bad, I'm going to be in my 60s before they're paid off. I got to tell you, there's no reason why my student loans had to be that high. And there's no reason why the government couldn't come in to fix the shark loan problem that I had. I did the right path. I did the right thing. I went to school. I did all the yada yada. I mean, look, I got a master's, a doctorate, postdoctorate certificate. I got all that junk. And I got to tell you, it was a mistake, So,
Yeah. So, can I ask you another question? Will you do this for me, please?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Can you think you can look up and see if they did anything with the marriage since the last time they did they even update the thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'll look at the statute language to see specifically. Just do me a favor, shoot me an email with the specific question, because I think what you're asking me is there any way to seek reattachment? Like, where you can say the marriage was annulled, or there was, you were not of sound mind when getting married, or you went on bad, statements and or testimony from, somebody you believe would be capable of delivering news in a legal manner, blah, blah, blah. I think that's what you're looking for, but send me an email with it. And then I'll kind of, as I get a chance, I'll kind of work on it. Just keep in mind, I basically have a couple of weeks until this house gets assessed, and the house needs to assess for a certain amount for me to get the full loan. And basically it needs a lot of work. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just want to know some little information about it and see, because, if I can get it back, oh God, that would be so wonderful if I could get it back.
Yeah.
But the way I don't know, because see, I don't understand like you said, they got statute, the revelation, and all of that stuff. So I don't know. That's the reason why I'm calling you and ask you, could you help?
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot me an email with it. I'll see if there's any like wiggle room, see if there's any like, any ways to kind of wiggle around it, and then I'll send them off to you. Yeah, send me the email. We'll catch up. It's probably going to take me a week, maybe 2 weeks to get to it because of what's going on right now. I'm just overloaded with this house thing, but send it over and we'll work on it from there,
Okay. And I want to ask you, do you think you could do a video on this little problem that I got so people could understand what's going on? Like you were saying, you're going to do one.
Yeah, I could do.
The Veterans Affairs and the Social Security.
Yeah, I could do a video on it. And literally yesterday I had 2 people call me just about, should they get married? And I was like, do what you want, but this is what will happen with the benefits. And they were horrified because, look, marriage in the eyes of the law is a contractual agreement between 2 individuals to basically get some sort of tax benefit and, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, marriage hurts you in many ways that do not make sense, because the whole point of marriage is to create a union that is a financially stable, household stable, child rendering stable environment for people to succeed. And it's not that anymore,
Wow. And also, too, what is the marriage penalty? What's the marriage penalty? What's that got to,
You mean for SSI benefits?
Well, I don't know. The only thing I know is, I believe SSI benefits and the VA, I think they kind of in the hoops together. If you get married, you get your stuff cut off.
So the marriage penalty that usually people talk about is for SSI Title 16 benefits, where if 2 people go on to SSI and they both get married, then they reduce their benefits significantly, because it's supposed to be cheaper for 2 people to live than basically for 2 people to live apart, for 2 people to live together as opposed to apart. Now, the reality is, it is unethical, it is immoral, it is heinous. And the reality of it is that it was voted on and allowed and continued to be voted in and allowed to exist by Republicans and Democrats. And so, and that's the thing. The more I study this stuff, look, Democrats are better at getting people excited. Republicans suck at making memes. They suck at the internet stuff. They're getting better. But Democrats are when it comes to campaigns of getting a message across, Hollywood is not as good as Democrats when it comes to getting a message across. So, I think they get a lot of forefront treatment as a result of that. But both parties allow this to happen. If you think there's any law in existence that is there, because whatever, look, trust me, if the Democrats really wanted to fight something and the Republicans really wanted to fight something, they'd put up an actual fight. Yeah. Look, you want kids to be safe, you got to teach and arm the teachers, the staff, the administrative groups, and you should have students basically taking firearm safety training courses. That should be part of our regular education, but it should. Think about it, because otherwise these kids end up getting guns, being taught from bad people how to use them and when to use them and why to use them. And then we have basically these, call them whatever you want, ruffians, thugs, mean, well-armed individuals. And it's not good. Yeah. But I'll say this.
Yeah, you're right.
at the end of the day, Democrats are very anti-firearm. Republicans tend to be very pro-firearm. But, let me ask you this. Who's usually front and center for the safety of children? That's the Democrats. They're usually almost always front and center. And they know that if we help children learn about firearms from a safe environment, if we arm teachers, we're not going to have these mass massacres, these mass shootings. So my question to them is, what you need to do, but your politics of trying to be anti-gun is hurting essentially the youth. And so that's why when it comes to Democrats, I sit back and I say, well, a lot of great people, but they're also, unfortunately, willing to sacrifice children's safety for politics that are BS. And that to me is unacceptable. I could do another one for Republicans too. It's very easy. But I have zero faith in them all,
Yeah, but like you said, you can't really believe them. You can't really believe the government. I mean, the Democrats, because the Democrats just lied to us, completely lied to us. They said, well, we're going to raise up Social Security. We're going to give you $500. And we're going to put extra money on Social Security. And come around, I said, no, they ain't going to do that. Only thing they're going to do is give that 8.7, slap us on the hand, and say, this is all you get. I was right.
Well, and you bring up a good point. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about whether or not if Biden got in when Trump first got in, whether or not we would have had any first or second stimulus money, because, Democrats do not have a history of providing stimulus to the general population. They have a history of providing stimulus to basically young children and the extreme poor, homeless. So I don't even know if there would have been, and the 75K thing was there, but I don't know if Democrats would have had the chutzpah, the intention, the pull, the push to get so many people that check that boost without the Trump factor sitting there. Because you remember, anything they could do to destroy Trump, they were going to do it. And I'm not sure if they didn't have that cattle prod or that whatever of Trump being there, I don't know if they would have been that supportive of us. I mean, that's the truth. That's how I feel. I don't think they would have gone out of their way as much. It took Trump for them to get out of their own political whatever to help us people, so.
Yep. Well, I'm telling you what, I sometimes wish that we ain't never had none of this stuff. I just wish these politicians would just leave things alone and let things don't have no government no more.
Well, we got to have a government, but I tell you what, let me get to the next caller because it's 9:42. I'm feeling a little bit sick in my nose, but let me get to the next caller and I'm probably going to end the night there, but you have a wonderful, wonderful night,
Okay, and I will, and I send your secretary that, what did I send her? I send you that and let you look it up and see if there's anything else we can do. Perfect. That's excellent. Sounds good, madam. I will catch you a little bit later and I'll keep an eye out for that email. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So that's excellent, guys. I wanted to go ahead and real quick thank this individual, Joanne Strine. Thank you for the $10 donation. I'm actually going to be giving the donations to basically somebody who helped me with really building this channel right when we were starting to do the live sessions when COVID hit. She's going through a bit of a rough time. You guys know Cheyenne. So I'm going to go ahead and make those donations specifically to her because I think it's incredibly important that we support the community that helps support people. Because, man, the community is not doing great right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take one more phone call. Whoever wants to call in right now. I know I missed a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people who called in. I'm not feeling super great right now myself. I'm going to take one more phone call. Unless it's a quickie, then we'll take 2 calls. Let me put the phone number in there. If nobody calls in for the next, 20 seconds, I'll just pick the next one up the list. But that's the phone number right there. If you want to, there it is. Okay, here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a question or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
This question.
Sure.
My name is Bob, and I'm just wondering. Overpayment. I'm just wondering. When if I just keep getting an overpayment just because I have a 401k, what will happen?
So you've got an overpay. Are you SSI, SSD? Like what happened?
I got SSDI and SSI, but I got overpaid because I have a 401k.
Okay. So, okay. And I'm assuming that only the SSI is the problem when it comes to the 401k, where basically they're saying you had too much resources and it was over $2,000, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. So what are we talking the amount of the overpayment? How much?
it's only 5k, but I did a loan and I made it lower, and I'm trying to do a waiver of my parents. They wanted to let me there. Just let it overpayment. I mean, just let the overpayment.
So it's a little, yeah, it's a little tough to hear you. If I'm on speaker, if you could switch me over to the other one. So basically, you want to know what to do about this waiver. So what did they say about the waiver when you submitted it, the 632 form?
Oh, I haven't submitted it yet. It's my mom don't want to submit it. She just wanted to say it's live streaming.
No, you got to submit it. You got to submit the appeal and the 632. You got to submit it. And you're going to have to deal with the 401k too. Cause I mean, you know, if you don't fix the problem, you're just going to get another overpayment, you know?
Oh.
So what's the plan for fixing the 401k? I mean, obviously you're going to do withdraw, you know, to keep your SSI rolling, but what's the plan there? Or you could just not, you know, take the SSI, but you know, you realistically in this situation, you want to keep it. How much of your monthly check is the SSI benefit?
It's not that much. It's just really a little bit. Sometimes 100, but mostly like 50 or 40 because I work, still work.
Okay, so how much is in the 401k?
Just three. It's like 3K now, but I'm trying to make it more.
Oh man, yeah. Pull the funds out of the 401k just to satisfy the SSI treatment, because over a couple of years the SSI will add up, and I'm sure you got, you know, the overpayments for multiple years. So bottom line is pull those funds, use them within, you know, a preferential treatment of like, you know, car, house, whatever, something that's allowable for SSI benefits. Wow, we just got 2 donations. James Moody, $10 donation, which is awesome. Love the NES controller. And JJ, $10 donation as well. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to actually use those donations to help out Cheyenne right now. So that's amazing, guys. Thank you. But to answer your question, yeah, man, you got to submit the 632. You got to begin the process for it and then submit the appeal as well. So basically, you know, why does your mom not want to go ahead and submit it?
I don't know. She just really last overpayment. She just keep letting it pass. I don't know why. She don't want to deal with SSI. I think it's because she got SSI too, and we live together, I guess.
Yeah, man, you're going to need to file that. You're going to need to file the 632. You're going to need to file the 561. And if it's a full cessation, then you file the 789 to show intent to appeal. But 561 or 789, and then basically the 632 form. But you're going to need to file those because that notifies the SSA that you intend to have it basically either withdrawn or reduced as to the amount of overpayment that's due. You gotta, you know.
All right.
All right. Perfect. Well, good, sir. I will catch you later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
All right. You too.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Bye-bye. Perfect, guys. So we're going to take, so somebody called right then and there. So I'm just going to call this person right back because they called right when I said like the last thing. Let's see if we can get them on the phone real quick. We've got some ringing going on. Oh, let's see if we can make this thing happen.
Hello?
Howdy, good sir. This is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout the process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
Fake question.
Perfect. It's a little tough to hear you. If you can switch me off a speakerphone, that would be perfect. But what is the question?
You hear me now?
Much better. Super good. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Roger, and I just filed a telephone interview for the initial appointment with the SSDI, and I'm really worried that I wasn't really prepared.
Okay, so you did an SSDI. Yeah. So the initial phone call, they don't usually ask you like the tough questions, like the 3373 questions. But real quick, Shirley just donated $49.99, which is amazing. That is huge. So Thank you. That's crazy good. I'm going to help out Cheyenne with that, which is really good. Wow, because that's $50 there. That's huge. That'll like pay an electric down payment bill. So that's incredible. But that's huge. That's really good. So good sir, walk me through this again real quick. You were worried. Yeah. So what question in particular caught you off guard?
Well, one was, he said, "Are you able to handle your financial affairs?" And I thought, I thought for a second. I said yes, and then I thought, well, does that mean I'm not disabled?
Well, no. I mean, remember, what they're asking you is, all right. Let me break down the questions of what they're really getting at. Can you tell me what's 15 plus 12?
27.
Okay. Can you tell me what's 18 minus 12?
18 minus 6.
Okay. Can you handle using a checkbook?
Yes.
Can you handle using an online bank account?
Yes.
Can you handle using a debit card?
Yes.
Then you don't need a payee, which is what they're really getting at, which means you can handle your own benefits when the check comes in.
Okay.
What were the other questions that made you feel a little bit like, ooh, you know?
Well, I didn't know if I just gave them basically my doctors and one MRI that I had done. I just felt like afterwards, it's like very basic skeleton. And my doctor said they would fill out the forms when they came, but I'm in Virginia. But so I thought, and I couldn't get a LARC because there wasn't enough fee because I just became disabled in October.
Okay.
And I'm wondering about like a representative at this point, or should I just try? I've been watching like a ton of your videos and stuff like that. I'm just wondering. I know I won't hear anything. It said 243 days before I hear something. So.
Yeah, it's because the COVID stuff. It used to be like 3 to 6 months you get a decision. Now it's like 10 to 14 months. It's ridiculous. But yeah, man, here's the deal. Like, you know, you haven't gotten to the tough questions yet, which are the 3373 based questions about, you know, at home functioning, 3369 work functioning. So,
right.
You know, as a result of that, you kind of have to keep in mind, like, you're not in the scary part yet. But, and this is a big but, if you screw up on some of those answers, 3 years down the line, sitting in a hearing, the judge is going to bring up those answers. So you have to have that conversation with yourself of, okay, am I knowledgeable enough of how to approach these testimony questions so that they won't hurt me down the line? Or do I want to hire somebody to basically go through the forms with me to make sure I don't whoops? Now, remember, a lot of disability attorneys, they don't go through the forms with you. I do. When people call in or we receive a form, somebody on the staff will review them and I'll take a look and, you know, make sure there's nothing that's heinous on them. Because, you know, ultimately, if I have to sit at a hearing, I like smooth hearings. And I don't get smooth hearings if they put stupid crap on the forms. Yeah. So, you know, bottom line is you'll have to find an attorney that basically will do that with you. But I would say this. All right, let me do some basic questions to see where you're at, and then I'll kind of let you know which way to lean with this stuff. Can you tell me, when it comes to cooking, cleaning, and laundry, do you have any limitations?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Can you explain to me, when it comes to basically, you know, driving to go buy groceries, do you have any limitations?
Yeah, I can't drive. The doctor told me not to drive my car.
Okay. And what are your top 5 most severe impairments?
I'd say Parkinson's, neuropathy, depression. I had a stroke at one time. And I forget what else.
So just as a quick heads up, Benny Hill, thank you for the $49.99 donation. That's incredible. Again, I'm giving these funds to basically Cheyenne because, you know, help her out with kind of payment stuff like that. And Charles Johnson, $4.99. But Benny Hill, that's massive. Jeez Louise, you and Shirley are just massive. Like, that's literally, guys, we're literally paying her electric bill. We're literally paying her electric bill. So this is incredible. This is really good. So you said anxiety, depression. I think you said a stroke in there. Walk me through them again.
Parkinson's.
Got it.
neuropathy where
Got
I
it.
can't feel my feet that well. I mean, I feel like now I'm seeing like, I'm like, oh, now I know what to say, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've been watching all your videos, and it's like, okay, now I know what's going on. I thought at first, well, I really got up on the wrong foot, but I think at this point, it's up in like Fairfax County at the DDS. So I think I'll hear from them eventually, but anyway, that's where I filed on the 20th of December. So
Yeah, I mean, you'll be hearing, honestly, end of next year. I mean, you somewhere around September, you'll be doing like their doctors, stuff like that. But that's
okay.
yeah. But here's the deal. First question I asked you, which is a multi question, which is actually a trick question. Can you do cooking, cleaning, laundry? And you said, yeah, I could pretty much do those things. If you can do those things, your neuropathy, mental impairments, Parkinson's, etc., are not severe enough to limit you from the capacity of going and doing a job. Like an element 5
Well,
vocational allowance. Yeah.
I mean, the problem is when the medication's not wearing off, I can't stand up. I start losing my balance and I start collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I need to articulate that.
Here's what I would say. All right. And I can already, all right. So first thing I would, if I were a judge, this is the first thing I would look at. Do you have any ambulatory devices prescribed to you?
Not right now. I mean, I use a cane, but it wasn't really prescribed.
Okay. Do you live on the first floor or the second floor?
Second floor.
Is everything on the second floor, or do you have a first floor that you have access to, or is just everything on the second floor?
No, second floor is my bedroom, and the first floor is the living room and kitchen.
Okay. So we know every day you've got to go up and down the steps, which is important to the neuropathy. Okay. So, all right. Can you tell me this? When it comes to, basically you getting places, you say you shouldn't drive, but then how do you get to your doctor's appointments?
I either get a ride or an Uber.
Okay. So how do you have money to get an Uber?
I have like an inheritance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you tell me this? Why can you sit in a car and go someplace while you can't drive someplace?
Because I can't. I got into an accident where I hit a building and took out some columns because I couldn't feel my feet.
Okay. Gotcha. So you had a prior accident, a medical condition issue. So they've restricted you in that regard. Okay. Could you possibly take the bus if there wasn't an Uber option or a friend to take you?
I've never been one to take public transportation, but I am kind of looking at that.
Okay.
It might be possible.
How far away is the closest bus stop from your house?
Across the street.
Okay. How far can you walk unassisted without the cane?
Again, it just depends on how long if the medicine wears off, so I can walk pretty good ways usually. But
how long have you been on this medication?
Like 7 years.
And it's the same medication over that 7-year period?
No.
How long have you been on this specific medication?
Probably 3 years.
Okay. So over that 3-year period, if you knew it wasn't working well enough to go ahead and allow you to, work a full-time job, why didn't you switch out the medication?
Well, I've switched it several times, and I'm not really willing to switch it anymore. The side effects are so bad that I'm kind of content with where it is right now.
Okay. But you would say that this medication is working for the most part?
Yeah, until you get to an what's called like an off period. So you just never know. That's the thing.
Okay. But there are other medications you still yet to try, correct?
No.
No, you've tried all the medications for pain that are available for your particular impairments?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the inhaled levodopa, so that's about the highest you can go.
Okay, yeah, you're on the heavy duty, because sometimes people answer that and they're like, I'm on aspirin, 800 million. I'm just like, bro.
It's bad when you have really bad when you have to adjust medicine. So.
Yeah. All right, look, here's the deal. You answered a little too quickly with the initials, but now you're starting to get the feel of how I'm searching for to trip you up. There are certain
Okay.
things, that a representative can do, which you'll never be able to do, which is, arguing the alleged onset date, negotiating that with the DDS rep, stuff like that. But if you feel that
Right.
your claim is a clean cut enough claim, try it. If you get a denial, you can always go and hire
Okay.
somebody. And remember too, most
Yeah.
disability attorneys, you're an SSDI situation. The first 5 months of the month you're
Yeah.
found disabled, they don't count. So attorneys are not excited about taking claimants at the initial filing level.
Yeah,
Well,
I found that out, but I think that's good in a way because it made me research a lot.
Sure. Yeah. No, man, the
So,
more you learn, the
I-
better you're
I
going to do with
definitely-
this. Yeah,
I definitely appreciate your videos.
absolutely. But I tell you what, we have reached 10 p.m. I know I started late, but
Okay.
I got to go work in that house next door. But I will catch you guys a little bit later. Good sir, you have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you. So, guys, you have donated just a massive amount, which is absolutely incredible. These donations, I know they take a fee, but I'm just going to send whatever the actual number was. Whoa! So Benny Hill is rocking it. Thank you, because she literally is. It's like it's a bad situation for her. That's incredible. That's incredible. Holy cannoli! Benny Hill just donated another $49.99, which is just absolutely amazing. Wow. So yeah, so basically these funds are going to go to Cheyenne for, it's electric, rent, stuff like that. I know that she's been really worried through the whole process of the holidays. She only kind of opened up to me about it, like, a couple of days ago. And I didn't get to do the video about it. And I was like, I want to make it, important, like the big Thursday night. Which is just incredible. But Benny Hill, wow, thank you, thank you. I want to thank all of you that donated. It's just absolutely incredible. The thing about the disability industry is that it's not an industry that really takes care of the people that are practicing in it or the people that are receiving from it. And here's a good example of it. If you look at, like, even the judges don't make that much money, and they're like the highest. That's like the highest you would get. Like the Social Security commissioner, that's the highest, I guess. But like compared to other industries, it's just this industry just makes less all the way around. And she did run into a very negative situation, which she got out of. Went back to the SSA stuff, which I think was a smart move on her part. And I'm not saying anything negative about that other law firm. I'm just saying, she was in a negative situation. I'm not going to say who created or what happened or any of that, but there was a negative situation. And, I think it's tough, but guys, thank you for donating. I'm going to go basically figure out the math as to how much was donated, and then basically send it over to her so that she's got it rolling and she's good to go and she can use it for her utilities and stuff like that. So, CBK Wahoo just said my judge makes $176,000 a year. That means that they've maxed out on the amount of, where they can be. Cause when you get to that amount, I think that's the highest for like the 8-year, but I think after like 6 years, you actually make that as an ALJ. But you have to understand, compared to what other judges make, that's actually a lesser amount. I mean, there's some judges that make less, but as far as like big industry, big agency judges, so not as much. But in fact, and I'm going to say this, it's going to get me in a little bit of trouble. Well, no, I'm not going to say it. No, I'll say it. Whatever. We'll have fun. No, I'll say it. A lot of disability judges, like SSA, ALJs, they want to transition to become a VA judge. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's the natural progression over to a different type of disability judge that just has more staff, more this, more that, etc. So anyways, guys, I will catch you later, and I probably just got myself in trouble. You have a wonderful night, and we will go from there. Again, thank you for the mega donations. I'm going to go calculate right now specifically what to send her, and I'm just going to send her the total amount. So I will catch you guys later. Have a wonderful night. All righty. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.